you have seen in the past several weeks creating the new evolution of Star Trek and its magnificent chapter. Please give it up for our distinguished guests, Wilson Cruz and Shazad Latif.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, right out of the gate, the Andorian.
I love the Andorian. Man.
The Andorian gets a piece of blue candy. Here you go. Woo! Gentlemen, welcome to Miami.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being with us. Wow, it's been an interesting year for both of you, hasn't it? Actually, it's been a year and a half, actually, you know?
Yeah, it has been a year and a half.
Yeah, actually. Let's, actually, before we go into that, my usual opening thing is ask you individually, how'd you all get interested in acting? And where did this begin for you?
Wow.
Yeah,
We're
I know.
going back.
That's bad.
You wanna go
Well, we are limited in what we're allowed to talk about with Star Trek, so
Right.
let's
Oh, okay.
But I want the audience to know about you.
You go first.
I'll go.
You're older.
My mum always. My mum always used to keep a little diary of movies she used to go to see at the cinema, like this little, all in the 70s, you know, the great movies back then. And my dad used to change the film reel in the cinemas. That was one of his first jobs when he came over as from Pakistan. So I was always watching good movies from young. That's how I got obsessed with it. And then my friend's dad was a theatre actor, so I fell in love that way. I did Romeo and Juliet when I was like 8. Loved it then, put on some tights. I was like, this is fun. And then from then, you know, I went to drama school, did all the basic stuff, started doing plays, and then I realized it was a way out, you know, survival as well as creative expression. So both of those things.
Right on. When did Spooks come around, or as we know it in the United States, MI5?
MI5. That was my first job. That was I was meeting who would become my agent. I was getting a theatre ticket at like 6 a.m. in the morning to see Jerusalem, which is a really good play with Mark Rylance. And I was tying my shoelace, and I looked up, and he walked past, and we'd met on like a Slumdog audition like a year and a half earlier. And I was like, "Come see me in a play." He said, "Okay." He came down. He sent me for a tester audition, and I ended up getting it. And then the rest is history. So I left drama school early to do that.
Very nice, very nice. And you, young man, you had a heck of a career in theater.
Yeah, I was young. I was a kid. You know, if you hear my mom tell it, there was never a question about what I was going to end up doing. I started out as a dancer, pretty young, and then learned a couple of musical instruments. I thought I was actually going to be a symphony musician at one point. That didn't happen. And I was a loner. I was a bit of a loner as a kid because I was, you know, this gay kid who didn't think he fit in anywhere. And I'd spend a lot of time on the weekends, instead of playing with friends, watching these old movies in LA. There is a channel called KTLA, and every Sunday they had the family movie classics, and it would be like, you know, black and white, old MGM musical maybe, and
Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Right, those kind of movies.
Yeah.
And I was enthralled and fascinated, and I just thought, well, I want to do that, and found myself studying musical theater, and then I got, went to college and did the whole thing there and studied, and I got really fortunate at 19 to do my first series, My So-Called Life, and then the rest, as they say, is history.
Mm-hmm.
We both said that? We need the writers. We need the writers.
The rest is silent history.
I warned you about this ahead of time, but tell me about sharing a piece of melon with Bob Hoskins on Nixon.
Yeah. Oh, God, I just got coffee on me. Can't take me anywhere. Yes, that was my first movie. So I had just finished My So-Called Life, and I auditioned for Oliver
Stone.
Oliver Stone. I can't believe I forgot his name. I can't wait to tell him. What's your name? Oliver Stone. Okay. So yeah, and I auditioned, and I had to mime eating this fruit out of Bob Hoskins' mouth, who was playing J. Edgar Hoover in Nixon, and so I did. And then he asked me a couple of questions, and I got the role. And I was just telling Aaron the other day, The thing I remember most about that, aside from eating melon out of his mouth, was that they gave me a really great razor haircut. They used an actual razor. I was really moved by that. I liked it a lot.
Close cut.
It was a good cut.
Yeah, live an indelible.
So basically, I was a houseboy. There are better. I have other stories that I can't publicly talk about the Nixon filming. But see me out there. I'll tell you all about it.
Thank you. You're a good boy.
No, Bob Hoskins was perfectly lovely. God bless him.
I've heard wonderful things about him. So let's get to it. When did Discovery become a blip on each of your individual radar? When at some point did your agency or somebody catch wind of it? Hey, they want you to come on and read for something.
One of my friends, who's an actress, we went to drama school together. She had an audition come through for this. She was like, it's a new Star Trek series. And I was like, what? And I had to, go back thinking when the last one was. A week later, it comes through for me, and I ended up sending a tape with my mum in the kitchen, because she's become my scene partner. She's really good. She's a great actress. When I give her a bit of direction, she goes over the top first, and I have to say, just bring it down, just listen, and then it makes me relax. So I do it in the kitchen, and we got this little laptop, little iPad, and a little thing, and I put books up in it, like cooking books to keep it up. And then so I sent the first one, and I think Alex Kurtzman, the one of the main producers, right, is the head honcho. He'd seen Penny Dreadful, and he'd liked me in that anyway. So then I get, luckily I didn't have to fly out to LA, because I'd done that before for Penny Dreadful. I flew for one night to audition, and there's 3 of us, and it was the worst, yeah. And then
do we have any Penny Dreadful fans?
Hey.
Yeah, right on.
And then then it was a 7-way Skype audition with all the producers, all the 7 people, and they're giving me direction. Then I run in front of the camera, do the scene, and that was it. And then I was waited around, and then a couple of weeks later, it was there. It happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Some of your Star Trek predecessors. I mean, Rene Abnois told me that he had to audition. He had to come in 9 times for readings.
9 times.
9 times. There are various committees and stuff like that. But again, that's the difference between how much importance that Star Trek takes on into the casting and everything else too. So
I think I was lucky because Alex had seen Penny Dreadful. If I hadn't, it would have been a longer process.
Yeah. So, and how about you?
So I have to preface all of this by saying I worked with Brian Fuller and Aaron and Gretchen, Aaron Harbers and Gretchen Berg, on a series called Pushing Daisies. I was on the series finale.
Pushing Daisies fans, yes.
Sid Tango was my character name on Pushing Daisies. It was good. I played a part of there was a water circus carnival. It was kind of a show, like a water show, and I was the headlining main star of the water pavilion or whatever. Anyway, so when I read that Brian Fuller was involved in bringing us a new Star Trek, I sent him a message on Twitter, because we follow each other on Twitter. And I said, hey.
An open tweet or a closed message?
Right? No, a private direct message.
Right.
Come on, I'm classy. I'm gonna sneak up in your DMs and ask you for a job. No, so I just said, I did actually, but I was a little more classy about it. I was like, hey, I just heard, congratulations on the new Star Trek. Amazing. I'm a huge fan. Love you. If there's any way that I can be involved, I wouldn't hesitate to be involved. And so he writes back right away. He was like, I'd love to see you in Starfleet. And I was like, yeah, me too. Hint. And so I didn't hear from him. Nothing happened. And I heard that Anthony Rapp had been cast as their gay character. And I was like, amazing. So I call up Anthony and I congratulate him. And I was like, you're going to love Aaron and Gretchen. And I called Aaron and Gretchen. I was like, you're going to love Anthony. And we talked. And then I didn't hear from Aaron and Gretchen until I got the offer. And they were like, this is your callback. And I was like, well, awesome. And I had to get approved by the network, because Les Moonves loves me now. Now. Apparently I was way too young to be on the network up until recently. Who knew? There was nothing for me. And that was it. Yeah, that's a long story.
Oh no, he's CW material. That's what it is. You know.
Oh no, I got totally turned down for CW.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, I auditioned for a few things on the CW, and yeah.
Because in the CW universe, there's no one over the age of 27 unless they're somebody's parent. That's
Oh,
like,
really?
That's like the rule of thumb, it seems.
Well, I'm not 27. I look 27.
You look good. You do.
Yeah. So it's all. So what? On the early production side, stuff this way, like you got the role, and at what point did they sit down with you and say, "This is what your character's going to be like"? And did they give you guys an idea of a series arc? And I know we're both of you. So basically, did you know at the beginning that it was going to lead up to last week's episode?
Things change on the shows. Everything changes so much.
The answer is no.
No,
We did not know.
No.
There's no. We knew
We knew bits. It was the meeting was very brief. It was like 5 minutes, and they go, "This is what's going to happen."
I'm not bullshitting you. There was a time where we actually got a script the day before we started shooting.
Yes.
And actually we got that script. We got a major rewrite of episode 10 the night before we filmed it, because I remember I had to cram those lines. Remember, we were like, "Oh shit, I hope I remember these," because it was one of the first days of the episode.
That happened a lot. Yeah, cramming lines.
Yeah, it happened a lot.
Going in a little room and just.
So there's no way.
The famous Star Trek technobabble,
Right. Which, by the way,
which has destroyed some other actors.
well,
That has.
It's tough.
I don't know what to tell them. I think what helped me remember all those lines was that they're actually based in real science. So if you researched what you were actually saying, which I did, and make sense of it, it was easier to memorize. But what was your original question?
Oh, just about
Oh, how long before? Yeah, they told us, they literally gave me like a 2-sentence description of Dr. Culber, and basically between Aaron, Gretchen, and Lee Rose, who directed the first episode I actually worked on, which was 5, not 4, which I appear in. Between the 4 of us, we kind of figured out who he was.
That's good.
But no arc. I didn't know where it was going. Like
Right,
we would literally get the scripts, and it was like I felt like we were kids back in the day when you would have like serial radio shows, and you'd just turn it on to hear what the next story was. Like, that's what it felt.
Little Orphan Annie. Did since last week's episode was so important to both your characters.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
What happened?
Last week's episode. Not tomorrow. We're not talking about it. We can talk
Nothing-
about it. We can talk. If it's on the air, we can talk about it.
Nothing happened.
And what did they say ahead? I mean, was it just, okay, here's the script. You're like, I do what? What?
I remember that because we got given the script very late, and then I was like, the first scene I got to with me and Wilson, I was like, we get a scene together, because we hadn't really had much stuff together, and I was like, great, and it was a really lovely scene, and then I got to the next scene, and I was like, like that was it, and it was so sad because we had to really give everything in those 2 scenes, and
we did.
We did, and it was a very emotional day. It was very
Incredibly
sad.
generous. I can't tell you guys enough about how it felt to shoot those scenes. I mean, they were nerve-wracking. It was weird. Don't let any actor ever tell you it's not weird to film a sex scene or a death scene. It's just weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not stuff you want to do in front of people, but you do. What was your question?
It doesn't matter. I just love to hear you
No,
talk.
what was it? It was because I wanted to say
But at what point, did you have any heads up what was going to happen last night, or is it just
Were you
turn the
done?
page,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
and then Ash?
No, I actually found out before you did, because they called me. I got a phone call from Aaron and Gretchen. It was really nice of them to tell me that I was going to die. But so it was 2 weeks before, and I actually work on another series called 13 Reasons Why, and I was there filming my first day, all ready to lawyer up, had my glasses on, had just come out of makeup. I was feeling good in my suit. Walking to set, and my phone rings, and it says, Aaron and Gretchen, it's their office. And I was like, oh my God, they're calling me. So excited. Hey guys, what's going on? I'm actually walking to set. And they were like, oh, do you have a few minutes? And I was like, oh. Yeah, and so they told me on the phone, and there were tears and all of that. And I made them feel really bad. And then I said, I'm just gonna, if this is the way it's gonna go, then I'm gonna do it with both barrels,
Yeah,
basically.
because
And,
that scene was. I love scenes where someone's on the med bay. I think the med bay is great because someone's always vulnerable in the med bay.
Yeah.
Someone's in pain, suffering. So there's a lot of emotion to be had. And then it completely flipped. So it's a great scene. I love it.
I think in Star Trek, I think this is the first time somebody's actually been murdered in a sick bay on Trek. Somebody could probably...
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Do you see what I do for you? The sacrifices I make? I'm willing to die for you.
And that episode was directed by Jonathan Frakes.
Ever heard of him?
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Besides being a director, at any point did he turn to you guys and say, this is what it's going to be like for you from now on, now that you're in the Star Trek family? Was there...
With this?
Yeah.
He mentioned it. He would come and the first time I met him, he came and just slid into a chair, and we just suddenly went into this lovely. He felt like it was just like I'd known him for years.
He's so charming.
And he would hug you before scenes. He creates an energy. He's one of the best directors I've ever worked with because he's an actor's director. He's been there, so he literally set up. You would hear him by the monitor, and you can hear him breathing while they're recording. He's like, and he's just like he hugs you, and then he ups your game. You want to do well for him.
Yeah, he's like it is. It's like a football coach. Like he's watching you about to hit the touchdown. He's almost to the all right, a cut. It was like it's so good.
He means American football.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah, sorry, not soccer. It's real football. No, I'm kidding. No, I don't know anything about either one of those. There's a ball. I love Jonathan Frakes. He was actually wandering, or he was prepping the episode the week before, and I was working one day, and we were all kind of hanging out. Do you remember, like, we had set up this little area, or they had set up this little area where there was like a ping pong table.
I bought that ping pong table.
Bought a ping pong table. That's right, you did. Such a giver. He got paid more than I did, and but then we set up a little chairs and a little table and stuff for us to eat lunch, outside in the hot Toronto sun. And I feel this presence come up from behind me and like take me up in an embrace, and I was like, well, this could be good. And little did I know, it was my childhood crush, Jonathan Frakes, and I melted.
All right.
I did.
Bearded or unbearded Riker?
Oh, bearded.
Okay.
Yes. I love this. This is good.
It's rough. It's coarse.
Yeah,
but
it's coarse. As I said, I like it
winter
coarse
beard.
because I like to know you're there.
Rare. Did Jonathan give you guys any insight about the ongoing bonuses of being a Star Trek actor?
Yeah, I mean, I was full of questions because I really was a big Next Gen fan, so I just riddled him with questions.
How do I deal with stalkers?
Right.
How do I deal with...
Oh, but I already knew about that stuff. Not my first job.
Yeah, but it's your first Trek job.
It is, be a teenager
The
on
worm
TV.
has turned for you.
Be a teenager on TV,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
People say some stuff to you. Anyway, but yes, he did. We had some conversation. Also, I'm friends with George Takei too, so he gave me some tips.
Cool indeed.
Just George. I just threw that in really.
George, who?
Very casual. Ooh.
You were invested in a fan of the show at some point. Did you have any previous experience with Trek as a fan?
My grandfather was a big OS fan. My uncle was a huge OS fan. I grew up with Next Gen. It was on after Fresh Prince. We had it on BBC Two at 6 p.m.
There's a double header.
And I think it's still,
it was 6 p.m. Yeah,
I think
Fresh
it's
Prince.
still on the BBC too.
It's always there. It's always on. And so that was always on the background. Patrick Stewart with his lovely head, just shiny head. And
Have you seen the photos of him with the wig?
oh, with the little. No,
Yes,
I haven't seen that.
So, have you seen this? So originally they wanted him to wear a wig, and he he was not having it. But being a team player, he was like, okay, I'll do the photo, the test for it. And there's a photo of him in this test photo with the wig on, and I'm not shitting you, this is his face. By the way, the wig looks good. But he was not
He
having
didn't have
it.
it. Yeah,
I interrupted you.
no.
No, he wears a wig in I, Claudius.
Yeah.
Like a little, poof, looks like he's got, yeah.
I don't think he was looking forward to doing it on a series for that long. Like, I'm sure he was like, okay, I'll do it for this thing, but every day, that's a lot.
Yeah, so that's
he
how
was, he was convinced he was out. He was like, there's no way they're gonna keep me unless this, lo and behold,
He's amazing. I love him so much.
Since
else you got?
I gotta look at my approved questions. I got a bunch of stuff. Actually, for Wilson, the really breathtaking thing about your character and the character arc, whether it's ended here or whether we might see it further, because in the Star Trek universe, anything is possible.
I'm coming back.
Yeah. Okay. You can say it. I can't.
I'm coming back, and I keep telling people, like, this is a paragraph in the first chapter of an epic love story. Trust me.
I know you said that, but I couldn't say it. You had to.
What's your
thank you.
question? What did you?
The great thing about Star Trek is that the theory always is that a lot of our 20th century societal prejudices, ills, or whatever, humanity is it's past it.
Yeah.
And it's now nice to have a character and a couple that the proclivity is not define them, they just are.
Yeah.
They just are.
Right. That's what we loved about it too. And I say we, I feel like I can speak for Anthony in this, is that we love the fact that we were introduced to these people as individuals in their service jobs, right? Like what they do for what their passion is, what it is that they've spent most of their life trying to achieve. And that was what was most important, that you found out that these were, pretty formidable people in their own right. And then to have them revealed to be together, that feels powerful, right? We're not making a big deal about it. We're not even going to explain it to you, because it's not something that needs to be explained. It just is.
It just is, yeah.
So we're really proud of that. Excuse me. And it was important that.
I was curious, of being not needing to be prideful.
Right, exactly. Excuse me. It was also really important for them not to be asexual, that they were people who were in love with each other, both, cerebrally and physically, and that was obvious,
If you shared.
So it was important for us too. So.
I believe we've seen ladies kiss before, but I'm pretty sure you guys did share the Star Trek's first boy
right,
kiss.
you saw two female gendered people.
Yes.
Or two female gendered beings kiss.
Yes. But you guys did your version of it. And
Right.
hopefully we'll see more.
Yes. So you saw two human beings with penises kiss. That was.
You can say that.
Now I've explained it to you.
Just.
I didn't do it on the show.
They're gay.
I can make a drawing later. No?
I don't want to see it.
Too much? Okay. I'm sure there is a drawing out there somewhere. I don't want to see that.
Your character is, we can certainly agree, was more than what he originally presented himself to be. Again, you were informed of this as you kind of went along?
Yeah, just trickles. You get, hints of it from the start, but it's the scripts, they were behind, so it's just, it's constant rewrite, and then they want to make it perfect because they're great writers as well, so it's the last minute, the actors get it the last, but we can only do what we can with it.
I loved the tortured way you asked that question, actually. That was my favorite part of that.
I'm trying not to get any of us in trouble.
The longer we go, the closer you get to matching your jacket.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm pretty.
Because you're frustrated that we can't ask the questions that you want to ask. Right?
Well, there was a question. I wouldn't talk about that. But The one scene, the stare down scene, though, in particular, when the character was with the mnemonic trigger of Kalis and the language, everything else. How was that scene? Because that was strong.
That was a big scene. Yeah, that was. It was a long. Thank you. It was a long scene to film, and it was because it had different sections and just so many things were coming together. So me and Mary really had to, we were trying to bring in, it wasn't just being angry. We were trying to bring in some intimacy into it as well, and
Hotness.
some hotness, and Frakes just gave us free reign with that.
Klingon love.
Yeah, because there's a moment. That's my favorite moment. Just really close.
I love that too.
How is it doing dialogue in Klingon?
It's a tough one to learn. There's a lot of, like Arabic sounds and rolling Spanish R's. And I studied a bit of Spanish in school. And, when I was really young, I went to Arabic school just for a bit. So that I found that easier. I love doing language stuff because I think that's why I love, foreign art house movies or whatever, because it creates that barrier where you can really get into the world easier. So I like doing that, and I like the way people communicate. So that was fun. It was stressful, but fun.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it. I don't know. Like all the people who had to speak Klingon, I was like, please don't make me do that. I'd rather have my head snapped.
The monkey's paw. The monkey's paw. Speaking of which, among your peers, you got a fantastic cast that you're all working with, and it looks like the energy that you've got on screen looks like it shares too. I mean, is it a fun set? It's a frantic set. I know that much because sci-fi shows are always, but it looks like you guys...
I think the days represent what we're filming that day. So if it's a big discovery, if we're all on the ship together, there's, mayhem, we go play ping pong, we do that, and we try and be like you would be on a ship. There's downtime always. But if it's an emotional scene, then there's that same energy. So if it's, me and Siniqua getting really intense, it's going to be a dark day. I'll go off in my corner, I'll focus, I'll do my thing, and then,
But we have a lot of fun. I mean, do we take the time to do our jobs and be prepared and
Sure.
all of that? Absolutely.
You
But
are
when we're together, we have a good time.
Yeah.
But I did want to say, because I've seen a lot of the episodes, and Shazad, you're not ready. You're so not ready you're not ready for tomorrow, and you're not ready. He's so good. He's so good. You're so good.
I love you.
I hate you so much.
What was it like when you got first suited up? When you got your final you looked at yourself like, wow, this is happening. This is really happening.
Well, the costumes, like Gersha's costumes are...
She just got nominated for Costume Designers Guild of America Best Costumes.
Yeah, they're unbelievable. I mean, it puts you into the world. It puts you into the world straight away. They are tight, but it's good. It makes you, makes you want to keep fit. It makes you want to keep healthy. Get in the gym.
Yes, for sure. And at least yours wasn't white.
That's true. That's true.
Darling, you rocked it.
Yeah, because I'm vain as hell. And I spent 2 hours, they will tell you, I spent 2 hours at the gym every day to make sure that, I didn't look like the Michelin Man floating through space.
Take it from Bib.
But I got, when I first got offered the job, Aaron Harbert's our producer, we had a phone call, our first phone call after it had been closed, and he was like, Wilson, your costume is my favorite costume in the whole series. And I was like, oh, and tell me about it. And he's on the phone telling me and describing it to me, well, it's da-da-da, and it's white. And I just sweat started pouring down my face. Because I was like, here we go. I'm going to have 3 jobs now.
3?
Yeah, because I was doing
Right.
13, this,
yeah.
and the gym. Those were,
All right.
that was my 3rd job. I'm serious.
I know.
Because I'm vain. I admit it. It's important to know who you are.
During the initial filming and everything else, obviously this was a tremendous amount of secrecy, obviously, and I'm still turning red over it. But how has that been for you guys to have it, go on in, and any show, of course, is good, but a Star Trek show is like, you guys are really
It's like,
amped up.
it's
How's
like being
that?
part of the CIA or something, because when you arrive in the studio a lot, there's security at the gate, then the name of the show is different. There's, when you get, even to bring family members over. When I first arrived and tried, like in the first few weeks, my mum and my best friend came over. They weren't allowed on. A few weeks later, everyone was allowed on because they eased off. It was okay, but
They have to sign
you
stuff.
have to sign stuff, forms. If you
When you-
can't take phones, no cameras, no nothing.
I mean, they're like over each mirror, and whatever mirror there is, not the mirror universe, the actual mirror. There's like a sign that says, do not take photos in costume or whatever. It was like a whole warning, like you will be fined or sued or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's serious. I tried it on. Oh, I forgot to tell you this part. So when I first tried it on, I took a photo. I sent it to my mother. She's the only person I sent it to. I sent it to my mom. And then I worked the rest of the day, and then I called her. I said, Mom, please erase that photo right now. Please. Please, because they're going to fire me, and you're Puerto Rican, and you're going to send it to a bunch of Puerto Rican people, and then it's going to be all over the Caribbean, and I'm going to get sued. So she erased it. But that's it's scary. Like, even when we get our scripts, you have to, there are no hard copies of the actual scripts. You have to go through an app. You have to sign in. Oof. Yeah.
Star Trek.
To even get your lines, you have to sign in. If
it's
your
hard,
computer
like-
doesn't work.
And to those of us who work a certain way, like to write in our
Yeah.
margins and make notes and prepare that way, but no.
Yeah, the screen's hard
Do
to
the
learn,
Christopher
man.
Walken, eliminate all the punctuation.
That's not a bad thing to do, by the way. It's actually pretty
I've
good.
done that sometimes, yeah.
I like it.
It's good. Star Trek kind of set a standard and has always been pushing the frontier of diversity. And, from original Trek, and a lot of people tend to forget now how Gene Roddenberry fought tooth and nail just to have that cast, just to even have them on the bridge, and then have that Chrysalis. You guys have definitely advanced that. How has that been like? Have you felt a sense of, wow, we're really kind of pushing Star Trek? And again, this idea of, in the future, we're over it. We're over it all. How's that been like?
Yeah, because we are over it. We are. We just need everyone else to catch up. So for us, we go, yes, thank you. There's a show that does it. It takes a long time. It's a slow process. Since 1997 for South Asian actors, we had East is East. It's taken 20 years to even get some scripts that are, good. You've got people like Riz and Aziz and Dev winning Emmys and BAFTAs only just now. And, in the theatre world, there's hardly anything. I think TV is slightly ahead of film in that essence. For me personally, because my film roles have been very Indian-based, and then TV I'm playing American characters, New Yorkers. It just takes time, and then we just need people in the production and the writing side to help us, for it to be trickled down rather than us bashing on the door and asking. It needs to trickle down to us.
As far as the show, in working on the show, it's a new experience in so many ways, right? Like, you don't usually, when you walk onto a set, for me, I'm usually the only person of color on screen most of the time. Not all the time, but on this show, it feels different. It feels comfortable. Like, you don't have to white-splain a whole bunch of stuff to people. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying.
Let me explain it to you.
And it's not just the cast, right? Like, Gersha Phillips, who we just spoke about, is black. I was gonna say African American, but she's not American. We have two Asian women who are on our writing staff. We had an African American female director. I mean, it's all the way through, from cast through crew, and so it's amazing. And it's the ideal world that we are trying to help create, right? I mean, we talk about how we live in this idealized future on the show, but that didn't just happen, right? It happened on purpose. It happened because, at least in our fictional world, people, a community of people decided that that was the world that they wanted to live in and fought for it and worked towards it. And our show is about making that final leap into that world. How did we get here? You know, we're still struggling a bit with the concepts and helping the world actually look the way that we want it to look. So I think it's an important piece of the puzzle. It's like, you know, I think it's amazing that Gene Roddenberry wanted us to see a world like that, but I also think it's fascinating to find out how we got there.
Absolutely. And we got time for one more. Let's do this. What you're allowed to talk about. What's been your favorite moments? What you take away? It's like either a scene or some shenanigans off screen or whatever. What's been your favorite moment that you're willing to discuss on?
In terms of a scene, I think episode 10 I had a lot to do, and I think that scene with Laurel and a lot of the stuff with Frakes, but the scene with Wilson was one of my favorite scenes because it had everything in it that I like in a scene. It wasn't a long scene, but it had lots of levels, and that was a very emotional day in terms of, you know, personally, and then also to try and emote that scene. A crazy thing we did, I remember we set up a little basketball net as well, because, you know, it's nice to shoot some hoops and on your time off.
I knitted.
Of course you did.
I remember playing, and I was just waiting to get some, you know, makeup stuff done on my body, and then I was just in pants playing some hoops, and then, you know, Laurel came out and she was in full costume, and we just had a little one-on-one, and she just hit 3-pointers on me non-stop. She'd never played before. And she just she was just shooting on me like that in full costume. And people,
Mary was?
we got this crowd around us like, why is that dude just in pants? And why is she just like this alien scoring 3-pointers? That was a great day.
Somebody should have filmed that.
There is Mary Chieffo's got that of her shot as well, like just like it's great.
All right, top that.
WNBA better watch out. There's so many. Honestly, I loved filming the scene, the toothbrush scene, because that wasn't about anything except two people who were in love.
Being domestic.
Being domestic, but also showing each other love. Like, I've deep concern for him, and he's trying to, you know, help me calm down, which takes a lot. I'm Puerto Rican, and so I loved that. I loved our the first kiss, because it was so epic, you know, like at the end of that episode. And honestly, and working with Shazad on that, because we knew that was central to the rest of the story. If we didn't get that right, if we didn't get those scenes right, especially the last one, the rest of the season is going to be hard. You know what I mean? It had to have an impact. And honestly, my favorite scene that I've ever been a part of in my 25 years is yet to be seen this season. So, tune in.
We look forward to that.
Yes, I love it very much. I can't wait to talk about it.
I know. Just if only we'd have done this next week, I imagine.
Yeah.
Well.
Anywho.
Yeah. What's on the future for either of you guys, non-Trek related? Any other projects you care to share about?
I just had the premiere for a Liam Neeson action movie where he's just on a train. I played like a Wall Street arsehole.
What's it called?
It's called The Commuter. It's in cinemas at the moment. And then also got a little indie movie coming out, which is very different. The whole movie's filmed on Skype. It's directed by Timur Bekmambetov, a Russian-Kazakhstani director who did Wanted with Angelina Jolie, Morgan Freeman, that film.
Yeah.
But this is a true story about a French journalist who went undercover to see how Syrian jihadis recruit people online. So it's basically like, but it's all verbatim from their conversations on Skype. So that's going to be at Berlin Film Festival, South by Southwest. So yeah.
Wow, but the turning basically when
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's.
I want to see that. Where is that going to be?
Berlin Film Festival.
But then it'll.
Oh, well.
I honestly thought that your whole chair. I really was expecting to turn around and seeing your ass on the stage. Whew. So
If you
here's
want to
what
see
I'm-
my ass, just ask.
Later, boo. Later. What am I doing?
Yeah.
So I just finished filming the second season of 13 Reasons Why, which should be out, I think, I'm not gonna lie, sometime in the next 6 months. I don't know. And that's fun. I'm in every episode of that, playing Kate Walsh's lawyer. And the other thing I can't talk about because I haven't signed a contract. I'm on a web series that actually you can see on Netflix called Eastsiders. And something else. I have an indie film with Alan Cumming that's making the rounds. I think we're going to get a release information soon, but it's called After Louie. And it's really about 3 different generations of gay men who have, and how they've dealt with HIV/AIDS and how it's affected their lives, but also about intergenerational relationships within the LGBT community. It's good. And I'm executive producing a documentary film or series called Out of the Box, which is about the history of LGBT images on television. And we'll be making an announcement about that soon as well. So within the next 2 years, you should be able to see it. 6 hours. It's gonna be good.
Excellent. And in case they don't know it already, what kind of social media outlets do you guys have that we can follow you on if we don't already?
I've got a Twitter and an Instagram. Instagram's at Shazad, which I only got last year, so I'm pretty new to it. Yeah.
You're good on it.
Am I? I'm starting to just do silly
That
things
it? There's
now.
no Facebook? There's not
No
a...
Facebook.
No Insta?
Insta and Twitter.
Oh, Insta and Twitter. All right, I wasn't listening. I want you to know it was the coffee. I'm gonna know from now on that.
Did you get one of the little Cuban shots?
No, I should.
Okay.
I'd be like, bring. What was the question?
All of your Instas and tweets, darling.
I made myself laugh. So Insta and Twitter at WCruz73, which is not my age, it's the year I was born. I am on Facebook. I have a public page on Facebook as well.
All right. So
And that's it.
And that's it. And unfortunately, that is our time. You guys are here with us the rest of the day?
Yeah, I'm here tomorrow too.
Are you here
I was
tomorrow?
here yesterday. I'm here tomorrow.
All right, you're here tomorrow. All right, so good. So they're set up in the autograph area, so by all means, come on by, check them on out. You can probably ask them something that I couldn't, so. A round of applause for our wonderful guests.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you so
And
much.
before we go, though, we're do our...
Oh, we have 15 more minutes.
Oh.
Huh? All right. Do a tap dance. What else you got in there? Here, let me look. Let me see.
All right, here you go.
Let me see. That's how you know I'm 44. Yeah, I'm not answering that. Star Trek has always implied that today's ongoing issues with LGBT and racism. Oh, you said that already, didn't
Yeah,
you?
I did, yeah.
All right, well, so where are you from?
I'm a local boy, South Florida, and then I've been in Orlando for 20 years. I've been an
Orlando?
Yeah, I'm an equity actor at Disney for the past 10 years.
My parents live in Orlando.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what part?
Whisper Lakes.
Oh, I feel it that way.
It's, okay.
All right.
This is how you're gonna know where it is, because I say this to people from Orlando all the time. They're like, oh yeah, OBT, Costco.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can walk there. I'm driving up to see them on Tuesday, so I'll be at the Costco, because you need a lot of toilet paper sometimes.
Actually, that was one of the questions I haven't asked. Okay, have you guys been, since Star Trek, have you guys been spotted yet just on the street? Or, you're the Star Trek guy!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
What was
yesterday,
that? You said you've been recognized before.
Right, but I did have an experience I have not had, like, this is a new one. So yesterday I went to go buy these lovely sneakers. There's a commercial for Adidas. And there was a security guard at the store, and this Puerto Rican straight guy, like 50-something, and he comes up to me, because usually there's like, a Nelly Queen and his best friend, you know, some girl who loves me for my, you know what I mean? Like, that's who my people are. I love them. But this time was like this straight guy, and he's like, oh my God, you're the doctor from Star Trek. I was like, yeah. He was like, oh my God, dude, you don't even understand. Are you dead? I swear to you. It was like it was as if my father was a fan. I was like, I don't know what is happening. By the way, my father is a fan. But yeah, that was new. Your turn.
Yeah, this happened a lot recently. I was in my little local coffee shop, and this girl came up, and she was a fan of other little shows I'd done in England, and she came up to me. She was with her boyfriend, and he was just waiting there, and he was like, what's going on? She came up, and she was speaking to me for a long time, and she was like, oh my God, I love you. Taking picture, and I could just feel this boyfriend just staring at me like, I'm gonna kill you. Like she was there way too long. We were hugging, like we were, and that was quite frightening. So I was just like, see ya, nice to meet you, and just walked off. That's happened quite a few times.
That's always awkward when there's one half of a couple, you know, who knows you more than the other.
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh, Star Trek. No, it's a TV show. You know, it's like that.
Oh, yeah,
Right,
I've heard of it. Right, yeah. Yeah, I've had a very smaller scale because I do a lot of stuff at the amusement parks, and
Oh, right.
yeah. So I was like, oh wait, you're the guy with the Muppet? Yeah. I can't talk about it. I'm a friend of the Monsters Inc. laugh floor, you know.
Have you seen anybody cosplay you yet?
Not yet. I'm waiting for the, figures to come. I want to see all the, I haven't seen any merch yet. I don't know where we get that.
You've seen the little pin.
I've seen a little Lego thing.
I have not seen anybody cosplay me yet, and I will tell you right now, I will flip my lid the minute I see somebody in one of those white uniforms. And by the way, I live in West Hollywood. If anybody is doing that on Halloween, I'm gonna lose it. Yeah, we'll come back and see you again.
Okay, cool. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
That's good.
What, when all is said and done with all this, what do you hope to be your Star Trek legacy?
Gosh, I hope that we help plant the seed for an enormous amount of young people of color and LGBTQ people, especially young people, and plant a seed for them about the limitlessness of their possibilities and about the world that we can create together if we really, truly believe in equality. And I hope that, I hope we inspire people to really think about the way that we see ourselves, especially in this time, in this political moment, right? Like, I'm gonna say what I know, which is, I don't want that, right? We clearly, if this person who lives in the White House now is anything for us, he's at least an example of what I don't want, right? And he's
That's a very fair way of putting it.
right, like, he has served his purpose, which is to remind us who we are not. And I hope that this show can supply inspiration for who we can be.
Right on.
I don't think I could say it better than that. I completely agree with what Wilson said there.
Yeah, don't you eye it.
What, I
So,
can't
like,
talk about that. I can't talk about that. God, so it's just, yeah. I'm afraid there's a CBS sniper out there that'll take me out.
Well, you could ask. We could tell you as much as we can. I know what not to say. He knows what not to say. What do you want to know? And I'll see if I can answer it.
Okay. There has been, I'll say, resistance among some Trek fans saying that this whole series doesn't quite line up with certain facets of it, either in terms of canon or just the way the uniforms or the way some of the stuff doesn't jibe. I believe there was a statement that said, at the end of this season, there will be something that kind of puts everything a little more in line with the original series. Can you, a yes or no, might there be a moment like that? Or an event or something along those lines?
Yeah, I think there is. I mean, if I'm thinking of the right thing.
I think the quote was at the end of the series.
Okay.
I think throughout the series there will be things that will help align canon, from what I understand. And somebody, I'm sure, will correct me if I'm wrong. But I think one of those things does happen this season. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there are a number of things that we need to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they will be dealt with.
That I have no doubt of. I just again, some people kvetching just about the uniforms, and then some people were like, "Oh, Spock has another adopted sibling we'd never heard of, or whatever." It's like,
Oh, right. Yeah.
There's-
all
the
that
sub stuff, yeah.
The costume stuff. I don't. And like the technological stuff. Is that a word? Technological.
works.
I think that stuff, I'm not sure that there's explanation for that. I think that's we just want to make a pretty track. We want it to look and feel.
There's some things in Star Trek you gotta accept, like the evolution of the Klingons.
Right.
With the original series and the movie version, and
I don't know. I think they deal with the Klingon stuff at some. I think they'll deal with that stuff. I don't know, but I think that they're gonna. Anyway, yeah, I think they have a plan.
All right, that's good.
But there's some stuff like why our ship bridge looks more advanced is just because, well, we are more advanced and we can do that kind of. We think this is what the Roddenberrys would have wanted Trek to look like if they were capable of doing what we can do now.
And Rod has been working on the show as producer, so he's given everything his imprimatur. So
yeah, I mean, I think audiences expect a different and more realistic look now. I think that's just what people want. And so we want people to watch the show and take in the stories, but we have to draw them in, right? And I think if we had made a Star Trek show that looked like the original series...
I don't refute it. I mean, there are lots of really good fan series and stuff out there that have recreated the look and everything else to it.
Right.
But when I heard this from other people say, it's like, well, people are going to have to get over the fact that, it's going to look modern and maybe try to catch a classic vibe. And I think in a lot of ways, the show has very much succeeded in that.
Right, and it's not nobody's trying to disrespect the fans. We're trying to give them, a big show.
And I think you've succeeded in that. Yeah. Am I right?
I think so.
What's how about this? I think okay. All right, we're also. What's the dream Trek thing for you guys individually? Something possible to Trek. Do you want to like monkey flip a corn? Do you want to punch a Romulan? What's something in the Star Trek universe you'd love to do?
The food creator, the thing where
Replicator?
you can whatever you can eat. I love food, so I like cooking. So that's a dream,
Yeah. That's good. I haven't transported yet.
Oh.
I need that to happen. I've given the producers a note. I said, I'm going somewhere. And then they killed me. They sent me somewhere, all right.
Working on a Star Trek series has given a lot of your predecessors opportunity to get behind the camera. Do you guys see
Yes.
directing eventually?
Yes.
Either Trek or anything else? I know you produced. So.
I write a lot with friends and stuff, so I would like to write and
Oh,
produce.
good. You write it, I'll direct it.
Yeah. I like someone else's eye on it.
And the Andorian will star. Cool beans. All right, now we are getting the signal, so I think now we're good to go. This is
Sick of us yet?
No, we can have you up here on all day. So, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
you, and thank you for being in the format.
You did great.
Okay, once again, a round of applause for these guys. Like I said, There, come by, see him at the table, ask him whatever you want.
Thank you.
And just hope CBS isn't watching. Thank you, Paradise City Comic-Con 2018.
Hey, wasn't that fun? I know I had a great time. If you want to see some more great videos just like that, you can click right over here. Also, click here to subscribe to our channel and leave a thumbs up and a comment in the section below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.